Ladies and gentlemen, it is the day before the first Republican primary debate. That is why today we'll be asking the question, who is Vivek Ramaswamy?
And that's why I'm proud to say tonight that I am running for United States President.
There are two genders.
Being woke refers to becoming alert to invisible societal injustices.
Capitalism is the best system known to man.
I'm 37 years old.
Vivek Ramaswamy graduated from Harvard and later Yale, working as a hedge fund investor and later starting a biotech company. Ramaswamy wrote his book Woke Inc. in 2021, writing about ESG and the Corporate Equality Index in progressive business America.
Can you just define how do you define woke?
Yeah, and I'm going to define it in neutral terms, not in critical terms. Being woke refers to becoming alert to invisible societal injustices, generally based on genetically inherited characteristics like race, sex, and sexual orientation, and then being called upon to act on those injustices using whatever potential legally means are necessary, including the market, to do it. That's a neutral definition that even most proponents of wokeism in the United States would agree with.
Early 2023, Vivek announced his candidacy for the presidency and has since seen steady increase in support in the polling, starting at less than 1% and is now reaching as high as 9%.
And that's why I'm proud to say tonight that I am running for United States President to revive those ideals in this country, those basic rules of the road. Meritocracy, the idea that you get ahead in this country not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character. The idea that you are allowed to speak freely, yes, to be wrong sometimes, as long as your neighbor gets the same courtesy in return. The idea that the people who we elect to run the government, by the way, are the people who actually run the government. Basic rules of the road. These are the things that bind us together. You and I have different shades of melanin. You know what I say? So what? That's not beautiful. That is not our strength. Our diversity is meaningless if there's nothing greater that binds us together across that diversity. And the reason that I'm running for president is to revive those ideals. And I believe deep in my bones they still exist, that most Americans still believe in them, but we need to rediscover that. And the only way we can do it is by start talking openly again.
Now, Vivek is on a course to revive the American spirit, but I want to talk to you a little bit about something that you can do to revive your American spirit. I have partnered with GulagAmerica.com. Gulag America is a premier and premium apparel brand that I partnered with. My code right now is JoshCarr10. You will get 10% off of Gulag America. We are approaching sweater weather. It's still a little warm outside. Gulag America has both for you. They have patriotic clothing. They have awesome sayings. I'm going to wear one of my other shirts next episode that talks about how it says my pronouns are father, husband, and hero. They have great hoodies as well as great shirts. Right now it's probably a little too hot for the hoodie, but you can still buy hoodies now using my code JoshCarr10 for 10% off so that you're prepared for the fall. It's also a great gift, especially for your more conservative uncles, aunts, cousins, I don't know, anyone in your family, maybe friends as well. Again, use my code JoshCarr10 for 10% off at GulagAmerica.com. Now, I want to highlight some moments that made Vivek Ramaswamy famous.
God is real. There are two genders. Fossil fuels are a requirement for human prosperity. Reverse racism is racism. An open border is not a border. Parents determine the education of their children. The nuclear family is the best known form of governance to mankind. Capitalism is the best system known to man to lift people up from poverty. There are three branches of government, not four. And the U.S. Constitution is the strongest guarantor of freedom in human history. That is the truth.
Like, let's just get real here. Like, I know you. We haven't met before, but I know you in some sense of the word, okay? Like, you're not unfamiliar to me. And what I see amongst even my peers, right, is a form of laziness. I think
I'm saying this out of respect and not an attack, in a constructive way. I saw a little bit of it in the start of this conversation, right? Where you're going to be able to smoke out a version of that which can be caricatured, but these are our fellow citizens.
Yeah.
And their concerns come from a deep place.
Okay.
Where if you can do a better job of articulating and smoking out where that concern comes from, then we have an obligation to do it. And that's what gives me my motivation in this race, where people will say, somebody living 50 miles radius of where I am in central Ohio today, and say, well, they say the First Amendment applies to tech companies. They're rubes because they don't know that that only applies to the government. Actually, to double click on that and say, you know what, there's something to that intuition. And it turns out if a private actor is doing what the government actually implicitly goaded them to do, then the First Amendment does apply. In every instance, to be able to say that when there's something of value there, don't just sweep that under the rug and reject it, smoke it out, and then let's have that real debate.
And
with
think
respect
that's
to the
a
woke
fair
or trans
point.
case, I'll do the same.
So when is it that you voted for the first time?
I voted in 2020.
Okay, so you're how old again?
I'm 37 years old.
So for how many years you sat around and did not get involved at all in any civic engagement? Is that my understanding?
A long time is the answer. And actually, that's what I wrote this book about. I'm not holding myself out as some sort of model. I'm actually offering myself as a self-reflection of my journey as a citizen to whom this country has given much, right? As an adult, when you have kids, it changes your perspectives. I'm very honest about that. Absolutely.
I say we actually secure the border. We use the military not to secure somebody else's border halfway around the world in Ukraine or wherever else. Use our own military to secure our own border. And for people here whose first act of entering this country broke the law, treat them humanely, treat them respectfully, but you have to go back and come back through the legal process if you're going to come at all.
All right, at the end of this video, I wanted to share some of my personal thoughts about Vivek Ramaswamy. First off, Vivek is awesome. No, there's no doubt about it. If you look at the comment section of any video ever, it's people just praising Vivek Ramaswamy. He's a very personable and likable guy. He's very articulate, and he tells you what he actually believes. He tells you how he's going to get the things done. In my opinion, that's what makes him the strongest. I personally think that whoever he endorses will probably win the primary. So what I'm saying is I don't think that he's going to win the Republican primary, and the reason why is because Donald Trump has so much support from the Republican base, as well as Vivek Ramaswamy does lack a little bit of political experience, especially in campaigning. I think ultimately that might be his downfall. He is putting up a heck of a run. Who he endorses will win the primary. I think that could be true for Ron DeSantis. If he endorses Ron DeSantis, I think Ron DeSantis could potentially win. If he doesn't, if Vivek Ramaswamy doesn't reach top 2, which he could outpace Ron DeSantis. He's been doing very good in the polls so far. He started at less than 1%. In many polls now, he's polling around 6%. Vivek is one of the highlights of Vivek Ramaswamy is that he's so hardworking and his marketing team is fantastic. If you haven't checked out like YouTube and just social media in general lately, Vivek is literally everywhere. He's probably on like 2 or 3 programs a day, whether that be podcasts or talk shows or some news outlet, usually Fox News. He's everywhere, and that is really awesome because he's getting himself out there. And as someone who values youth and someone who values a president who's going to be able to just go and go and go, not only is he doing a great job campaigning, but he's kind of proving to America that he has the stamina it takes to be president of the United States. He has gained more followers on social media than any other presidential candidate for 2024, which I think is something important to point out. He's making large headways in that area. Vivek has clear-cut solutions. He's more articulate than any other candidate. We'll see if he has proper experience politically to pull off an election as successful as Donald Trump's team has, but only time will tell. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. As usual, please go down below if you got a little bit of value out of this video today. Please consider subscribing, as well as commenting what you think about Vivek Ramaswamy and my take on him. Thanks.